You are now muted.
Notes you can learn a lot, but I will introduce the main points to you. In the name of God, hello everybody, and good afternoon to you. I am teaching the session about course and syllabus design, and I hope that your prayers are answered, and Ramadan Mubarak. Well, course design means putting the theoretical decisions about objectives and syllabus into a context. You remember that we started from needs analysis, and we said we collected some data about the needs of the students, and we said there are different types of needs. Considering that it is the first step, needs analysis. After that needs analysis, we have to analyze our data and actually design the course. Actually, course design entails syllabus design, material preparation, or material development, and we have to actually make selection of a methodology for teaching and establishing evaluation procedures. So all these will happen after after needs analysis. And today we actually focus on course design and syllabus design. Syllabus design, course design, they are very widely used in in general ELT and EGD courses. But ESP follows the same actually general procedures in actually designing a syllabus or designing a course. Therefore, ESP practitioners can learn a lot from general ELT, curriculum planning, and syllabus design. But what is syllabus? Syllabus means a plan of work to be taught in a particular course. Actually, it is a road. It is a road map. And all the stages we have to go through in order to reach the destination. The destination is the learner's goals. We have two main types of syllabi. content-based syllabus or product syllabus, and methodology-based syllabus or process syllabus. So we'll start from the first one, the first category, which is content-based syllabus. It has, again, some subcategories. The first one is language-centered syllabus. As the name speaks for itself, language-based syllabus actually uh, consists of an ordered set of language items graded by their difficulty levels. Therefore, when we say language center syllabus, we mean our focus is on form. And by form, we mean the corpus of language, the body of language. And by corpus, we mean vocabulary, grammar, structure, and all the stuff related to the corpus knowledge. Therefore, in this type of syllabus, which is the simplest version of the syllabus, what matters is learning the structural aspects of language. What we do in this type of syllabus is to analyze the target, to analyze the target situation and see what type of vocabulary and grammar is suitable for the target situation. It goes through different stages and it is very orderly. The first stage, you identify the target situation and you have your theoretical views of language, which is structured. And then you identify the linguistic features of the target situation. Then you create a syllabus. You then prepare the materials and you decide about the evaluation procedures. So it is actually a step-by-step process in order to develop and design this type of syllabus, which is called language-centered syllabus. At first glance, it seems to be a very logical procedure because the steps are very, very clear. But the first problem is that it is actually it has a very narrow view to language learning, and this narrow view is about a structure. It is supposed that if students learn the structure of language, the vocabulary and grammar related to the target situation, they will learn language. And you know that language learning is not just vocabulary and grammar. We discuss about many things about genre, about discourse, functions, notions, situations. All have a actually role in language learning. We talked about communicative competence. We talked about social competence, different types of competence, strategic competence. Therefore, just linguistic competence cannot be very well, actually, is well foundation, very good foundation for uh, designing a syllabus for language learners. Another problem is that this type of syllabus
Glance.
actually conducts news analysis, but
Glance.
um, language center
يلمح.
syllabus is the target situation and analysis. It just looks at the target that the students is aiming at in order to reach his or her aims. The target situation means the ultimate goal. Okay, is that this type of language the students must show to be competent in order to produce. Therefore, by target situation, we mean the type of language. Again, it means grammar and vocabulary. But how this target competence is gained, which is the way the learners learn language is not focused on, and the processes that the learners go through in order to reach their ultimate aim is not actually considered. Therefore, the learner is invited for assessing the target situation, but we don't pay any attention to the way that the learner is going to learn language or the present situation needs, learning needs, they are not considered. Therefore, this type of syllabus is called a learner restricted syllabus because after you know about the target needs of the students, you don't have any business to negotiate with the learner. You prepare your materials, design the course and syllabus, and even you think about evaluation, and the learner is not here to negotiate with you. Therefore, they learn with you at the level of just target situation analysis, and you say goodbye to the learner and think about all other stages, which is actually an absolute mistake in ESP courses. Another shortcoming with this syllabus is that uh, it is actually language centered, and language items like grammar and vocabulary actually they are graded. You know that linguists actually grade the structure and the structure of actually the grammatical aspects of language. For example, they say simple past is easier than simple future, or present tense is easier than past tense. Therefore, they grade the grammar of language and provide the learners with this gradation. But we know that the way that they grade the language doesn't mean that in our mind, in the learner's mind, learning is like this. Actually, the internal processes might be different from the way that language think language can be graded. Therefore, students may something that is easier for one student might be more difficult for another student, or the reverse. Therefore, we cannot consider or conceive any gradation in language learning because it differs from one student to another student to grade a part of language, for example, the vocabulary part, the grammar part. This is actually a big problem with this type of syllabus, which claims that language must be graded, and this gradation must be provided to the learners in order to learn language according to the gradation of difficulty. There is no nothing, no actually consideration of the internal processes that happen in the learner's mind. Next, the next syllabus is notional functional syllabus, and the third one is situational syllabus. I talk about both simultaneously. Look, situation, for example, at the dentist office, in which at which situation or in which situation, for example, in the doctor's office. This is the situation, okay? Or in a school, I don't know, in an airport. Functions, no function is, for example, making a request. It can be something on it's like things like this are called notions. However, uh, uh, in notional functional syllabus or in situational syllabus, the idea is that just knowledge of vocabulary and grammar doesn't guarantee that learning different situations. Use language in communication for different functions they know how to speak. Therefore, the claim is that students must be introduced with the function of language or the different situations. And for those functions or for those situations, books or teachers must provide the learners the language that they need. And they usually use dialogues in order to show how that function can be actually met, or that situation can be met. Therefore, this course is very important, and communicative competence is very important in here. If you pay attention to these two paragraphs, you understand that as I mentioned here on page 2, well, the notional functional syllabus takes the desired communicative capacity as the starting point. So in this type of syllabus, what is very important is the communicative capacity. They say language is used for communication, so we must prepare our learners in order to have a good communication. And just focusing on form doesn't mean communication happens. We need to go beyond form and use language in and show how language is used in for different functions in different situations. Therefore, they create the situation. They have consider functions for language and provide the learner with dialogues or discourse of text that actually show the exact uh, use of language in real communication. Therefore, I just wanted to focus on these two lines. Mona, you mentioned the notional functional syllabus focuses on content rather than meaning. Actually, the functional notional syllabus, they focus on content and meaning, and they focus on both, but they don't focus on grammar and vocabulary, okay? Grammar is there, vocabulary is there. You indirectly learn vocabulary and grammar. The focus is not on vocabulary and grammar, despite the previous syllabus. But the structure is just a vehicle or a means in order to learn the use of language. But the problem with this type of syllabus is that there are a whole lot of functions, a whole lot of situations that exist, especially in general English. In general English, a course which is based on functional linguistics or functional syllabus cannot be a comprehensive syllabus because many situations exist. And if we have a change in the dialogue, that doesn't the student doesn't actually know how to keep the flow of conversation, because in functional syllabus or situational syllabus, the emphasis is less on form, I mean on vocabulary and structure. The students cannot, when the dialogue is somehow different from the type of dialogue that they learned in class. When there is a sudden change, a sudden actually difference in the type of conversation that they are going to have in real life, and there is a new situation, they don't know how to speak because they don't know how to use language forms. Therefore, merely focusing on form, actually on function or situation doesn't mean that in real life situation you are a successful person for communication. Both form and function are important. Therefore, one problem with this type of syllabus is that it overemphasizes content and meaning and nearly underemphasizes form. Both must be emphasized. But for ESP, this type of syllabus is a very, very good syllabus. For ESP, it is a very good syllabus. Yeah, I have to repeat it again because I have to send the voice through WhatsApp. The strength of the functional notional syllabus or the situational syllabus is how to use language in real life situations. And for ESP courses, it is very, very useful in order to learn how to meet the target situation needs, awareness of the actually use of language for the target situation needs in a real communication is very important. Therefore, this syllabus has a lot of good points, but one point which is not actually very much in favor of it is that uh, there are a whole lot of situations, a whole lot of functions that can be considered for any language that it is impossible to learn all of these. And if there is a new situation, there is a new function to play. The students nearly don't know how to use their language because they really are not creative. They don't know the form of language. They don't have any mastery over the form of language, and they just learn some fixed phrases because when you are given dialogues, you memorize the dialogues, and if there is a change in the dialogue, you don't know how to play with the structure of language. Therefore, um, by, by memorizing some fixed phrases, you will not turn out to be a good communicator. Another big point is that you just come to learn some, to memorize or learn some dialogues, you get familiar with some situations and functions. But there is no focus on how to learn language. So learning language is different from how to learn language. There is no difference. Actually, there is no which focuses on functional notions. Our students not actually making um, uh, logical language processing. They don't have any language processing in their mind, and just knowledge of some fixed phrases doesn't mean that the students have learned language. And another problem, as I mentioned previously, is that they don't know actually how cope with the new situation or function when the new situation or function arises. Either focus on the oral. Look, language can be oral, textual. It can be written or oral, as you say. no matter which mode it is, if oral or if written. The case is that, for even in writing, if you are not familiar with the new situation or function, you cannot be a good writer because you don't know much about form. And that's why we say both are actually important. Form and function are important. Got the point, Heda?
You are now unmuted.
Thank you, Heda.
You are now muted.
The next type of syllabus, I go to the next page. Actually, my note is very actually easy to understand. Well, the next type of syllabus in category A syllabus types is topic-based instruction in the topic-based instruction. Here, actually the whole course is or the main characteristic of this type of syllabus is topic. Despite the previous ones, which were focused on function, notion, structure, I don't know, situation. Here, the focus is on topic. One topic is introduced, and everything is actually circles around the topic. For example, the topic can be the solar system, okay? Solar system. And a text will be selected solar system, and the grammar is based on actually that. I don't know, vocabulary, and anything that you would like to teach your students is based on the topic that you select. So based on the needs of your students, or your ESP students, you select some topics, and for that topic you select your material. You are very careful about the vocabulary, grammar, functions, notions, situations, everything that you think is important to be actually covered during the course are put under topic. So session or every lesson or every passage, and grammar, vocabulary, functions, notions, and everything, dialogues, I don't know, interactions, tasks, games, okay, anything, reading, writing, anything is based on the topic. When the course is based on the topic, it creates a lot of motivation in language learners. So it is one of the actually best types of syllabus for any classroom, because especially for ESP courses, because the type of topic that students show interest will still keep them interested and motivated to learn the language. And for ESP courses where students have a lot of information about their discipline, if you ask students what topic are of your interest in order to be covered during the different sessions, because they have background information or background knowledge or prior knowledge about the topic, their learning will be actually an effective learning and lifelong learning, because they know a lot about that topic, and the only problem is that they don't know the language, in our case English language. So they know about the content because they have content familiarity. They are um, aware of the topic. They have prior knowledge of the topic. So the only problem is that they don't know English language a lot. So this type of syllabus is very good for learners of actually students of ESP. We have two other types of category A syllabus types. The category A, if you remember, is known as product-based syllabus. Okay, so a skill-based syllabus and skills-based syllabus are two types of product-based syllabi. A skill-based syllabus, as you see here on top of the page, skill-based number 5, skill-based syllabus. By a skill, we mean the main four traditional language skills. What are the main traditional language skills? Reading, writing, speaking, and listening. These are the main types of language. So a course which is based on reading, a reading course, a listening course, a writing course, or a speaking course. At the A level, you have a course called listening and speaking. So the focus is listening and speaking. So you don't have any or much writing and reading activities because the focus is on listening and speaking. Therefore, this is called a skill-based syllabus. But regarding ESP, when we say the ESP course is based on a skill-based syllabus, in addition to the four skills, you must provide other skills related to that profession. These are called professional or communicative skills. So, for example, your ESP student is a factory manager. You want to teach him, for example, English, or teach her English, and he or she wants to go to another country. They must know how to use language and how to use their professional skills. For example, when they are um, speaking, what tone of language to use. I don't know how to use body language, how to use facial expressions, how to show their affect, how to show their emotions, how to use body gestures. Okay, so these are also very important, and you need to learn some phrases, fixed phrases, and they need to have clear pronunciation, and many things are important. They are called managerial skills. So these are very important in ESP courses. Another type of syllabus in product-based syllabuses, category A syllabuses, is skills-based or skills centered. So it is not a skill, it is a skills centered course design or syllabus design. Actually, here by skills, we don't mean reading or writing or speaking and listening, but we mean learning skills or strategies. For example, your students must know how to learn, how to actually write, how to read, how to speak. These are about the how learning, okay? For example, in learning, if they have difficulty, how to deal with the difficulty or problematic areas in reading. So these are called, again, skills, but they are not main skills. There are some actually strategies. These skills have another meaning called strategies. They must know the strategies of learning. If they know the strategies of learning, some processing happens in their mind. I mean, for example, if you don't know, if your students don't know the meaning of an unknown word, so the process is this. They will try to guess the meaning of an unknown word by guessing from content or butchering the word into prefixes or suffixes or looking at the surrounding words. These are actually some calculations, some processes in the mind that allows the learners to actually cope with the difficult situations in their learning. Therefore, when you say skills-centered course design, it means that everything is based on this strategies of learning. This is a skills-centered course design. By skills, we mean some strategies, like, for example, um, extracting the gist or main idea of a text by skimming. Skimming is a kind of a strategy. Scanning is a kind of a strategy in the reading comprehension. So I will go to type B of syllabus type. B, methodology or method-based or process-based. Well, uh, category B of syllabus types is methodology or method-based or process-based syllabus. It is of different kinds. For example, learning centered in uh, or task-based syllabus. Well, look, we mentioned earlier that we have two types of syllabuses. The first type is called product-based syllabus, and the second time is called process-based syllabus. Okay. In category B, what is there that makes it different from category A? In all the syllabus types that we mentioned so far, there is no negotiation between uh, the teacher and the student or the students. Uh, the type of syllabus which considers those students, all who have actually a benefit in education. For example, the first benefit goes to say the student because they learn something, but there are other people who have a role in this teaching and learning process. The student, the teacher, parents, I don't know, politicians, I don't know, institute managers,